Hello everyone, Coming Clean here. The different versions of Disney Infinity were all positively received all the way up until the series cancellation in 2016. And while there still is an active community, it is quite small, and I'm starting to fear that people, and especially younger players, will miss out on a great gaming experience. In this video I will specifically talk about the Star Wars aspect of Disney Infinity 3.0. Let's get right into it. Of course, there's no shortage of Star Wars games in general, and we've seen some great titles over the years. However, Star Wars as an entertainment franchise is largely a PG-11 experience, and the options of movies, TV shows and video games is a bit limited when you want to introduce your kids or younger relatives to this immersive universe. When it comes to video games, the LEGO Star Wars games quickly come to mind, and while they in my opinion are all great games, there may come a time when you want to move away from the brick setting but still not go all in on the nitty-gritty violence. That's where Disney Infinity 3.0 and its Star Wars content comes into play. With an art style reminiscent of that in the Clone Wars or Rebels TV shows, fresh stories taking place over all three Star Wars eras, the option of creating your own adventures, and an intricate combat system, you have something here that Star Wars video games fans of all ages and experience can enjoy. Let's talk a bit about what the game is all about, what you can do, and why it fills a very important role among all Star Wars video games. If you're not familiar with Disney Infinity 3.0, I want to mention that Star Wars is not the only represented franchise in this game, but I'll stick to Star Wars content in this video. Disney Infinity 3.0 is a Toys to Life game where you'll need a physical or digital game, a portal, and one or more figures to put on the round spaces on the portal. The hexagonal slot is where the playset goes. A playset can be described as an adventure pack where you play through a series of story-driven missions taking place on various familiar planets that act as open hub worlds. The three playsets are called Twilight of the Republic, Rise Against the Empire, and The Force Awakens. They each offer an alternative version of the official story and each take place in one of the three different Star Wars eras. All three narratives are in general relatively engaging while not overly dramatic and give a sense of purpose to your adventuring. Being a game aimed at younger audience, the game is also localized for different geographical markets and includes in-game speech in many different languages. Yes, that's how the Republic heroes sound here in Sweden. Each playset involves a planet-hopping adventure with main and side missions on each planet. The missions themselves are very varied and involve everything between fetch quests and puzzles to vehicle sections and combat challenges. The entire thing is also playable in co-op, and the different challenges also increase in difficulty when two players are active. The combat difficulty can be adjusted in the game's pause menu, and the various challenges and missions are often very easy to complete, but to earn all stars you're definitely in for a challenge, even if you are a seasoned gamer. At first, only the era-appropriate characters are playable in the associated playset, but once you collect a few secret pickups, you can play with any Star Wars character from your collection. The premise of the Disney Infinity games that is still relatively unique is that you play as toy versions of the famous characters, and sometimes even joints are visible. When you or your enemies are defeated, the in-game figures break down in pieces, further emphasizing that they are simply not real, which makes the combat very family-friendly. Speaking of the combat, it is much better than you think. With the help of British developer Ninja Theory, the 3.0 Star Wars characters have easy-to-grasp but hard-to-master control schemes largely based around the simple mechanic of delaying your button presses in a combo slightly to receive completely different moves. The blaster wielders can combine their melee and blaster attacks in the same combo, and the game even gives you fancy camera angles during successful combos. Let's just say that there is more to say about the combat as well, like air juggles, mid-air combos, dash attacks and dodges, but I'll save that for a dedicated video in the near future. Depending on the difficulty, various levels of mastery of the game's different combat mechanics are needed. On very easy, repeated mashing of the attack button is sufficient, but on extreme difficulty, a thorough understanding of delay combos and well-timed dodges is a must. Just another example of the many ways this game is perfect to play together for players of different skill and experience levels. Let's also talk about the fact that you can create your own so-called toy boxes in this game, and you can become the author of your own Star Wars adventures. I personally can't believe that even though the Disney Infinity franchise is discontinued, no one has recreated a version of this creation tool. Not only can you create vast landscapes and various Disney-related settings, there are also so-called logic tools available, and the way you use them is essentially simplified programming. A very useful skill to have for people both young and old. With all the creation tools available, I have created one-on-one arenas with AI opponents, Star Wars races, side-scrolling 2D-inspired adventures, moving sand crawlers, TIE bombing runs, rescue missions, cinematic starfighter cutscenes, and much more. This is all just scraping the surface of what you can do with the tools in this game, which will inevitably give you hours of fun for the whole family. Let's finally talk about the actual figures. I mentioned that Disney Infinity 3.0 is a Toys to Life game that requires actual physical figures to play as that specific character. The exception is the digital Steam version that includes not all but the most of what the console versions offer. Oh no, this sounds expensive, you might think, as is the way with all of the discontinued Toys to Life franchises, and while there are expensive characters available for this game, I'm happy to inform you that the most expensive ones are at least not Star Wars characters. After searching through the used market, I realized that a complete collection of Star Wars figures will set you back a bit of money, but you should be able to collect a decent amount of figures for a reasonable price. All this combined makes Disney Infinity 3.0 the ultimate family Star Wars experience, alongside a couple of LEGO titles, of course. If you like this video, perhaps you like my tutorial of 4 simple things you can do in your own Star Wars toy boxes. This video is part of the 2002 Disney Infinity Christmas event created by YouTuber LionTHD. Check the description for links to all videos of the other content creators who have taken part in the event. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Coming Clean, and I will see you next time. Take care!